Hey there, Leo. How you doing? We just had the full moon in Capricorn last night, and I know that would have jangled you a little bit in terms of how you're organizing your life on a day-to-day level. I'm sure it got a little bit chaotic. I know I'm feeling a little bit, what's the word? I think intense today. Obviously, after the full moon, the moon has lined up into an alignment with Pluto, so that really brings out intensity. And of course, Pluto right now is in a very, very strong place in your chart. So what I'm going to do in this short video of around, say, 15 minutes is run through some of the prevalent patterns that are going on for you right now. And there are some big ones. And pace you through the next 2 weeks leading up to the new moon in your sign, in the sign of Leo. We've also got Mercury retrograde in your sign coming up too. So this is definitely going to be an interesting and I think poignant one for you. Now, if you're new to this channel, my name's Louisa Tanner Munson. Hi, welcome to Feel Good Astrology. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. I really appreciate that. So before I get going, I just want to thank everybody who supports this channel. It's really amazing how you do that. I really adore you. Thank you so much for that. But what I am most interested in today is the flow of energy for you from your Leo perspective. So we're starting off from the full moon, which happened yesterday. And you can see with the full moon, everything is really illuminated. Everything is really clear. But it's very crowded. You know, our thinking gets crowded. Our everything seems to kind of come to a stop. You know, we need to. In fact, my husband's got his ascendant in Leo, and right now he's busy doing DIY and doing things all around the house. As far as I can see, we get our brains get really cluttered with lots and lots of things. As we are going through this 2-week phase, we're coming into the new moon in Leo. And as you can see, there's no illumination here. So we have to be our own illumination. There's the quarter point, the third quarter, which is on the 18th. That's also the day when Mercury goes retrograde. And we're being pulled to illuminate ourselves and to go inside. And so, I really think it's quite busy in the first part. It's a lot more outward facing. And then as we come closer and closer to the time of the new moon, we're coming real deep inside ourselves. Now, if we look at this in terms of the diary, you can see that both the new and the full are on Thursdays and this midpoint is on the Friday. But when you lay it out in a diary view, you can really see that there's not that much going on in this first week. And it's all taking place, or a lot of it's taking place in the second week. Now, these aren't all the planetary aspects. These are the major ones. The squares, the trines, the oppositions, the conjunctions, and from planet to planet, not moon to planet. So yeah, there's a lot of very strong things happening in this week too. You can also see this Saturn going retrograde on the 13th. He's going to be retrograde until some point in November. And Mercury always goes retrograde for around about 3 weeks. So let's have a look at these particular charts then. So this is the chart for the full moon in Capricorn from your Leo perspective. And this is how it looks at the time of the new moon. So what you can see here is the moon is moving from your 6th house at the time of the full moon. And he's going to be moving right the way across into this very private part of your chart. And then he's going to catch up with the sun and they both move into Leo and you come into that conjunction. Now, what is, I think, really important in terms of this is your angular houses. These are the Leo. We've also got Scorpio, although that's not so important in this particular reading. But we've got Leo and we've got Aquarius. Now, Taurus is your other angular house, but there is Chiron right at the end of Aries, and you'll see that we've got this really interesting and difficult T-square. Now, if I go back to the full moon, this T-square was actually showing up between the sun and the moon at the time of the full moon. And Pluto was also in a square. So you've got the sun, the moon, and Pluto in a square with Chiron. And isn't that interesting that at the time of the new moon, the sun and moon are both in the same square to Chiron, and Pluto is still in the square. So there is a very, very strong theme. Now, we need to understand what Chiron means to be able to decode that a little bit better. Chiron is the wounded healer. I kind of don't like that description of him. I mean, it's very handy to hook on his personality, but it makes him a one-trick pony. You know, the wounded healer, yes, it talks about our insecurities, possible things that make us ill. It also speaks a lot about our emotional triggers and when they come up. It also, I think, can show where we finally break free of our triggers and we actually kind of transcend our problems and actually become a coach ourselves or become a mentor. Now, he's definitely putting us through our paces. So the moon is about your psyche and the rawness of your hurts. The sun is about your personality and your ability to deal with hurts and stresses as they come up. And Pluto, I think, is trying to be yourself whilst society is demanding something else of you, in particular in a way that feels slightly hurt. And so, you know, this is going to be showing up throughout the whole of this forecast period. So I don't know what this means to you exactly. One thing I will say is Chiron's current position, and he's been here since 2018. You know, Chiron has been in your 9th house for a really long time. And the 9th house is about expression, political views, religious views, philosophical views, your spiritual views. It also represents issues to do with being far away, issues to do with being global, issues to do with being different. And so you may well have some very strong triggers around those subjects. I imagine, you know, like the time of COVID, the COVID phenomenon could have really brought up some of those, you know, in terms of your belief systems and things coming in from a different area, you know, like globally coming in. So what I really see here is there's this emotional, an intuitive and a personality-based trigger going on about maybe how unaccepted you how accepted you don't feel, you know, like maybe you would like to feel like you're okay. And, you know, as far as I can see this is an indication, this is asking you actually to accept yourself first. You know, until you include yourself, other people aren't going to do that. To me, this is really helping you, like, nudge you through. Now, seeing as we're talking about nudges forwards, I also think the ongoing Mars connection to the South Node is interesting to explore. So you can see it coming in on at the time of the full moon. You know, Mars is in the 2nd house. It's about your money. It's about your ability to make money, keep money, use money, your resources, how you work with those, but also your self-esteem. And during this time, it's going to make a conjunction with the South Node. Now, to me, this could really remind you of old stuff, maybe stuff that you've done very well, maybe stuff you've conditioned yourself to do. However, we've also got this Venus T-square that's joining both of the nodes in a square. That can be difficult, and is also in a square to Mars as well. So I think any old stories about your money situation, your feelings of deservability, your ability to be capable, to be able to look after yourself, your thoughts about your superiority, you know, like, can you do it? Can you do it on your own without help? Your feelings of survival, maybe, because Mars is definitely about survival. And the square to Venus, you know, do you feel showed up? Do you feel like there's something going on between you and your partner? Do you feel like judgments from your partner are weighing into things? To me, this is a huge theme because it's going across the 2nd house and the 8th house. The 8th house has to do with partner, money, inheritances. It also has to do with shared resources between you and your partner. And so the fact that they are both across the money houses, these nodes, and connecting to Venus in quite a strong way, is something to watch out for. So anywhere where you feel that sense of maybe not having the capability, anywhere where you feel like you just can't do it, you've not managed to do it just yet, and so therefore it's unlikely to ever happen, all that kind of thinking is going to really hold you back. So if I was in your shoes, I think over the course of this 2 weeks, I would maybe work on that a little bit. And the reason I've said that is also because, your ruling planet is the sun, and the sun is in the 12th house, as is Jupiter, which is illuminating, or it's bringing to your awareness where your thoughts are coming from, where your inner programming exists. Jupiter in here is going to really expand all of your intuition, and is really going to bring out a sense of, I think, maybe optimism as you start to let go of some of your views and relax a little bit. This is a time to come into yourself. This is definitely a time to take a break. The sun, when it comes into the 12th house every year, it reminds you that it's time to just to slow down and to lose your stories. In fact, the full moon here would have got you very, very busy in your very rational world and in your rational life, and yet the sun here, your body, it's all about comfort. It doesn't want to be rushing around doing all this stuff. It actually wants to be putting its feet up and having a nice relax. And so I actually think you've got time to sort out what your feelings are. And if you don't, Mercury retrograde is totally going to add into that. So let me just talk about Mercury retrograde, and then I think I'll call it a day. So Mercury retrograde, first of all, he's in your sign. And so that brings up, I think, always a sense of sociability. It also brings up a sense of, I think, ingenuity as well. Mercury is very, very resourceful. And so you remember how resourceful you have been. I think it really reminds us to just think harder and try harder and give things a go. So I think Mercury going through your first is quite helpful. It makes you quite enterprising. But he's going retrograde, and he's going to be going retrograde back to this new moon spot, just a little bit ahead of it. But to me, there is a new start that's really possible. And it's a new start that you need to do on your own, because it's kind of fighting your partner a little bit, or fighting powerful people that are coming in and telling you what to do. To me, this is you reclaiming that sense of sovereignty. And I think that's going to be a really strong theme in this month ahead. And definitely in the next couple of weeks. And so this Mercury retrograde, I think, is there to remind you of all the time you can do things, have done things, found your own answers, survived, done well, done more than survive, actually, when you've thrived. And I think, it's a really worthwhile exercise right now, as Mercury's retrograde from the 18th, and as we go into the third quarter moon phase, when it starts to get more intuitive, more soft and gentle, less hurried. To me, this is a real invitation to you to do some real soul searching, and to work out what parts of you are resourceful, are part of your future, and where you can believe in yourself. And I think if you take this seriously, I think by the time the new moon comes along on the 24th, I think you're going to be ready to hit the road running, hit the ground running. I think you're going to move fast. You might fall forwards fast as well, but you'll be moving fast. Like the impetus will be there. I think it's going to be helpful. So this is a big time. And from the 11th as well, I think Mercury is going to really help you push forwards. Your idea is going to come back. Your mind's going to come back. You'll be able to trust yourself a lot more. So I think I'm going to leave that there. I hope that's helpful to you. Now, maybe you like my forecasts. I hope you do. And if you do, and would like to go a little bit deeper, you've probably seen the messages that are flashed up during this video. I've separated my memberships and broken it down into just a forecast only membership. And so if you thought, I would like, to hear Louisa's romance or career forecast, or her daily forecast, then that's your invitation to check it out. So I'm going to leave that with you. And yeah, maybe I'll see you there. But anyway, have a great 2 weeks ahead, and catch you in the next forecast. Bye for now. So if you're enjoying my forecast every 2 weeks on YouTube and would like to go even deeper into your planetary coding, then why not try out my astrology forecast group? What you'll get for this small investment of $9 a month is a relationship and connections forecast every 2 weeks, a career and ambition forecast every 2 weeks, and also Monday to Friday daily updates where I share everything that I think you might need to know to get into your flow. If this sounds good to you and you want to join, then all you need to do is click on the link in the description field below.